Now at 6, we're tracking breezy conditions this Christmas Eve and what you should be looking out for as you head out the door.
The thing that everyone's got going on in their mind right now is, man, this is tough timing.
Just the threat for high winds today had people preparing for the worst, especially after all the damage from last week's windstorm. We're going to have more on those preparations coming up.
And making sure your presents make it underneath the Christmas tree, what police in Multnomah County are doing to guarantee it. Well, good morning and thank you for joining us on this Christmas Eve. I'm Corey Johnson.
And I'm Drew Carney. China Green has the day off, but we do have some team coverage this morning because of what we're calling a weather impact alert day. We have, there we go, team coverage right there on your screen. Libby Dowsett live at Pioneer Courthouse Square. Rod Hill, we are dialing back the messaging though, right?
We are. That's why I'm in a good playful mood this morning, because I really feel confident that the models that were showing the least wind threat today are the ones that are going to end up being proven correct. All the modeling I look at now showing this is mainly a noticeably breezy day coming, not a concerning wind day coming. Now, obviously, we still have in our minds that saturated soil makes it that much easier for some trees to be uprooted, but I think any gust even 40 today will be in exposed kind of higher elevation areas. Rain is also part of our story, so have your raincoat with you as you step outside this morning. We will definitely see most of the rain this morning into early afternoon and then become drier later today. And I do have a dry Christmas Eve evening and into the overnight for you. Futurecast again showing the rain showers picking up and a heavier wave of rain moving through at about noon today. Right now we're pretty quiet, 45 degrees. Most of us have light winds. The exception, we do have east winds gusting out of the gorge along the Columbia River to about 30-35 miles per hour, but the south winds have not started yet. We're at 44. We'll be noticeably breezy at noon, but mainly gusts no higher than about 50 degrees, pardon me, so mild. And then any wind threat over at 5 o'clock becoming mainly dry. Should be a nice night for your Christmas Eve church services, by the way, so that's good news. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Rod. Now, many people are also planning to travel this Christmas Eve. We'll continue our weather coverage with KGW's Libby Dowsett, who's live this morning at Pioneer Courthouse Square in downtown Portland with the details on what drivers should know as they hit the road. Good morning, Libby.
Good morning, Corey. Now, as you can see behind me right here at the amazing Christmas tree, the lights are still on. And now's the time to make sure your utility company has your updated information according to Power Crews. They say just in case there is a power emergency, they need to reach you just in case. Also, find a place you can go if you happen to lose your service. PGE and Pacific Power Crews have been repairing power poles and cables all week after the wind and flooding and are now prepared for another round. They say they have big concerns after long periods of heavy rain. They say trees have soaked root bases, and that means the soil is soft and trees can come down with even moderate wind.
Making sure you have an outage kit. That can mean extra batteries, flashlights, blankets, any non-perishable items, so you have extra food around.
It's always smart before an event like this to, like if you have battery packs, charge those up in advance. Charge your cell phones, charge any devices you might need as much as you can now.
And Clark County's tip was to turn on your porch lights or your living room lights to let power crews know your lights are back on or are never went out, just so when they're going through the neighborhood they know what the latest update is before they help people down the street. And well, the lights here you can see are on and there isn't any wind that we can speak of. So it's looking pretty good, guys. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Libby. Live for us in Pioneer Courthouse Square. Thank you. Now, if you lost power in last week's storm and received SNAP benefits, the Department of Health and Human Services has extended the deadline to replace food that went bad. 19 counties in Oregon were granted an extension. You now have until January 16th to report losses and to also request replacement benefits.
If you want to get the most up-to-date forecast throughout the day today, just text the word weather to 503-226-5088 and we will text you back with a link to the latest updates at KGW.com.
Well, to other local headlines this morning, Portland police now believe stolen copper wiring contributed to a deadly crash that happened near the airport earlier this month. Investigators shared this picture of the damaged wires in a transfer box, which controls the traffic lights. Now, this happened on I-205 in Airport Way on the morning of December 11th. Police say a semi-truck turned onto Airport Way. That's where the traffic lights were not working. That's when they also then collided with a motorcycle. Now, the motorcyclist, identified as 52-year-old James Goldsmith from Fairview, was killed in that incident. Police are now urging anyone who may have seen someone tampering with the traffic control box near the southbound I-205 off-ramp in Airport Way to reach out to them.
We have an update on a murder case in Southwest Washington where investigators say a landlord in Woodland killed his tenant and hid his body in a barrel. Last week, the Cowlitz County Sheriff's Office got a call from a family member of 67-year-old Ricky Miller. They said Miller had killed someone at his property on Old Lewis River Road. Then yesterday, investigators identified the victim as 71-year-old Dennis Schmidt. They say Schmidt lived in a home on Miller's property for decades. According to court documents, the murder happened the day after Thanksgiving. Miller is accused of hitting and strangling Schmidt. He's charged with second-degree murder.
And now to an update on a crash that happened last night in Aloha. The Washington County Sheriff's Office told us today that a Portland man died while crossing TV Highway near Southwest 198th Avenue. It happened around 8:30 last night. 41-year-old John McKinney from Portland died at the scene. The driver stayed in and is cooperating with investigators. Deputies are also now looking for more witnesses. Now, one of those witnesses briefly stopped before taking off. They were driving a silver Audi sedan with a partial license plate that reads 091.
A 19-year-old street racing suspect appeared in court yesterday. This is a look at Jeffrey Baker, who faces multiple charges tied to a street takeover and a hit and run late last month. Portland police arrested Baker on Thanksgiving weekend after they say he led officers on a chase that lasted roughly 20 minutes. This aerial video shows police tracking the car before it eventually crashed in southeast Portland at 82nd and Division. The judge yesterday lowered Baker's bail to $5,000 and ordered him on house arrest. He is due back in court next month.
It'd be sad if other kids didn't get their presents because somebody else decided to take them.
An alleged porch pirate caught on camera had people in this Gresham neighborhood looking for their Christmas gifts and the sheriff's office tracking down the Grinch.
That's right, and a deputy eventually caught that suspect. Catherine Cook has the story.
In this East Gresham neighborhood, the Grinch decor was not an endorsement for bad behavior. But Saturday morning,
and I noticed there were Amazon packages kind of strewn about the neighborhood and a lot of people out looking around for their stuff.
investigators say doorbell cameras caught this woman hitting house after house, stealing packages, presents, and even these old shoes.
Oddly enough, this person stole my size 13 Nikes, which, the average person does not need.
Neighbor Steven didn't want to show his face, but as you can see, he got his shoes back. Found them on neighbor Kelsey Brown's porch. But Kelsey's deliveries, gifts for her 3-year-old daughter, were gone.
So what did they take? Your package?
Yeah.
And what did the package have in it? Your books?
Yeah.
Who would do that? It's a question Multnomah County Sheriff's Deputy Josh Delatorre had too. Around 11 o'clock Saturday morning, Delatorre saw the woman in these videos walking near Southeast 282nd and Chase Street. He stopped to talk with her, but to his knowledge, she hadn't committed a crime. About a half hour later, he circled back and found the woman carrying several packages. This time, he confirmed she was carrying stolen mail, which deputies learned came from 6 different houses. They arrested 44-year-old Patty Walker for second-degree theft. Then, they delivered the stolen packages back to neighbors like Brianna.
So I'm honestly really grateful because we got our gifts and Christmas is saved. That's awesome. He really helped our family out a lot for that.
Kelsey got her daughter's gifts back too.
It was nice that we had somebody respond who wanted to take all the extra steps to get everybody's stuff back.
Authorities say it's important to collect packages ASAP or have them sent to your work or a retail pickup location. Stephen couldn't agree more.
Be prepared. Keep your things inside, even your tennis shoes. Bring them inside at night because you never know who's walking around.
Again, that was Catherine Cook with that story for us this morning out of Gresham. Next stop here on the Sunrise Show, we're going to the Dalles. the Veterans Home in the Dalles, but the reindeer on the lawn out there this morning. So the question for Rod Hill.
Will the reindeers fly?
What's that?
Is that the question? Will the reindeers fly?
No, it's a weather question for you, Rod. Will the winds be strong enough today to knock those reindeer over?
But the reindeer fly. That's a weather.
Well, that's a
the
given.
wind.
We know the reindeer will fly.
Okay, well, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, all right. We do have east winds this morning blowing out of the gorge as expected. Those winds will be easing by the noon hour as south winds become the dominant flow. But at this hour, last time I checked, Crown Point, for example, blowing to 51 miles per hour. Trotto's been gusting so far to generally under 35 miles per hour. Those winds might get a little stronger, but not much. And again, they'll be easing in the gorge as we approach the noon hour. Now, this is the busy map. Everything lit up. The red areas are high wind warnings. The kind of tan areas are wind advisories. Much of our state, from the Klamath Basin and parts of Central Oregon up into the Blues, looking at the risk of 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts today. And I want to show you what's going on. We'll start with a reminder that we have the wind advisory from the Weather Service up from 7 to 4 p.m. today. But I've really downgraded the valley wind possibilities. I think it's going to become a noticeably breezy day, not a noticeably windy day. So when I say breezy, generally some gusts just bouncing up into the 30-plus mile-per-hour range. So you need some Christmas cheer. So that's good news. That's a good news forecast. The only wind we have right now, again, is coming out of the gorge. East winds gusting to 33 in Troutdale. And I really think when we look back on today, the main wind threat of significance is going to come up through Klamath Falls and then clip parts of Central Oregon and then make its way out into the Blues. And that's where the winds are blowing, in fact, right now. We do have rain in the area. Have your raincoat. Most of the rain will be ending through mid-afternoon. I have a dry evening for you. Here are the temperatures out the door. We're plenty warm. We're in the 40s. And again, no south wind yet. Albany's at 43. So our afternoon numbers look like this. Temperatures nearing 50 or up into the 50s here on the west side. And just about as warm out east today. Bend 49 and John Day at 49. Snow levels are 5,000 feet. Currently dry up over the Cascades and passes are in good shape. 53 today. The impact alert for a day that I really feel is going to be more noticeably breezy than anything else. Thumbs up on that. Showers through Friday, a dry weekend, and that is your Christmas Eve update.